I wanted to talk about this story quickly today because I think it puts a fine point on how much British Columbia and Canada in general have deteriorated under the lack of leadership of people like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and BC Premier David Eby. We are in a pro criminal country and especially a pro criminal province in British Columbia. The police don't do anything. The police would love to do something, but they have the federal government and provincial government tying one hand behind their backs and saying that you can't even lock up criminals. And the story today is that an 82-year-old veteran who is the branch president for the Legion in his area of Penticton was attacked by a homeless gang, and the people that were basically did it got away with it. Nothing's happened, even though this man lives right by the police station. This didn't happen by the police station, but they were pretty close, and this is just becoming a daily occurrence. So this man, Jim DeMarce, 82, I'll just read a little bit of this article from Kelowna Now. I'm going to link it in the description below. And it says Jim DeMarce, 82, was driving a scooter home from the library late Friday. This is the Penticton Public Library. Afternoon when four strange men approached him. And this is quoting him. They weren't kids. I would say all four of them were in their 40s, and they were all obviously street people, he said. I asked to get by them, and they said they would move their cart so I can get by if I gave them all my money and my cigarettes. I said, no, that ain't happening. They knocked, then they knocked me off my scooter, and the gang tackled me. And he goes on to talk about the attack on him and how like nothing was done to these guys. What I found most interesting is John DeMarce, who is absolutely a hero in Canada, a man who is a veteran who, after having served in our military, has continued being a Legion president, is involved in his community, and frankly, he is also very brave for standing up to these scumbags on the street who attacked him for the mere act of trying to get down the sidewalk in his own town. Here's him after the attack right here, still looking very active and, serving his community. Great man. But the interesting comments he made was how it's not just about how I don't want this to happen to other people and, this is tragic, blah, blah, blah. I never thought this would happen in my city. His comments later on in this article from Kelowna Now, I'll again linked in the description below, is him basically just saying that, yeah, this happens all the time and I'm not shocked, and the system does not actually crack down on these people. I want to get back to this point where he talks about what's going on. So this is his quote right here. I'll just read it. I don't need to show it on screen. He says, what really pisses me off is these people get arrested, they get fingerprinted, they get mugshots, they end up in the courtroom, and the judge gives them a slap on the wrist. It says, you're free to go. It happens all the time. The judiciary, not only here in Penticton, the judiciary not only here in Penticton, but all across Canada sucks. And he is absolutely right. The thing is that in Canada, because of our weak bail laws, we effectively have same-day automatic bail that no matter what you're arrested for, even if you're a serial violent offender, like we saw earlier, actually last month, with whatever that guy was, scumbag murderer man who killed I think Terry Dunn in Surrey, that he was a repeat violent offender and was just released from prison, was just released after being arrested for aggravated assault and having a long history of multiple repeat offenses for theft, I believe drug dealing, a lot of other sorts of things involved in violent crime and other illegal activity. And he was released. And same thing with these guys who attacked John DeMarce. Even if they were caught, they'd be out same day. They were literally not punished. They know that they can make an entire lifestyle out of being on the streets. And a lot of these people are addicts. They do need help themselves, but it doesn't help them to keep letting them back on the street. But we have this left-wing mentality in Canada, and especially BC, that if you're on the street, that if you're a criminal, that you yourself are a victim of the system, that you just haven't been given your 30-second chance. And if we give that to you and we give you a pamphlet saying that maybe you should stop using meth, that eventually you'll figure it out and get clean. That's not how this works, and you're causing more people to be victimized over time. And so if we can use a story like this of John DeMarce being attacked by these four, basically street gang members, I think that we need a change in government in this country. Yes, that is what you expect me to say, but it is a very, it needs to have a fine point put on it. David Eby, even though most of our criminal laws come from the federal level, has not properly funded the police in BC. There is not enough police officers in these cities with high crime to be able to intervene in these scenarios, be able to keep these people away from public buildings, like check people on the street, see what they're up to, remove weapons from them. That's something he could be doing, but he hasn't. We even, in fact, have an anti-profiling law in British Columbia that makes it so that if you want to arrest somebody or you want to stop and search somebody because they're up to no good, if you do that to too many people of certain demographics, then you might be investigated as a police officer, or a police branch might be investigated because we care more about social justice than actual justice. And then on the federal level, we not only have same-day automatic bail, we have things like Bill C-5, which make it so that if you're a gang member who is caught carrying an illegal handgun, that's no longer considered that bad of an offense. You might go to prison for a couple months or so, and that's it if you get put in prison at all. At the same time, you have Justin Trudeau and the Liberals going after law-abiding gun owners, freezing handgun sales, and outright banning the ability to buy a handgun. Even if you have an RPAL and you go through all the hoops that you need to purchase one, you still can't have one. But a gang member can smuggle his heat up across the border. These people are not buying handguns at Bass Pro Shop, just to let Justin Trudeau know. These people are smuggling guns up over the southern border with the U.S., and even if they get caught, even if they have obviously committed several crimes in both carrying the gun and acquiring it, they aren't charged at all. And again, violent offenders on the streets, we view them within their socioeconomic situations, and that's how judges decide whether or not to hold people. We have a serious problem on the federal level of needing to appoint better judges, provincially and federally. We need a better funded judicial system. In BC, there was literally a child molester, frankly, who was let off because in 18 months they couldn't get him a trial because the system is so severely underfunded. But in BC, we still fund safe supply. We still give people free, like hydromorphone, free meth, free heroin. But we can't we can't get enough judges, we can't get enough sheriffs to actually make sure we process and prosecute these people. It's absolutely insane. So, my usual pitches, but it really does make a difference. If you live in British Columbia, I have a link below for the Abbotsford South riding donation link. If you guys can donate anything to that, it really helps us out. If you donate $100, you get 75% of it back in a tax credit. Up to $550, you get 50% of your money back. Please donate to that. I'm working for Bruce Banman out in Abbotsford South. We're basically fundraising on behalf of everybody. Once we get up to a certain amount of money, we're just going to start handing money out to other ridings to make sure we win the entire Fraser Valley, if not starting to move money towards Vancouver to make sure that the BC Conservatives can win a majority. So do that if you can. If you don't live in British Columbia, help your local Conservative out in your province. Make sure that we put pressure on people to appoint good judges. It's considered an American issue to care about the Supreme Court and to care about who's on different courts. In Canada, we have seen the consequences of just letting the left appoint all the judges. I believe Stephen Harper, when he left office in 2015, there was tons of vacancies on the Senate. There was tons of vacancies or different courts that could have had vacancies filled, and just Stephen Harper just didn't do it. And then Justin Trudeau appointed all these soft on crime liberal judges. So we need to clean that up. If you guys want to get on my organizing list, it's on my website, wyattclaypool.com. Also linked in the description below, although you can probably figure out how to type my name into Google. Sign up onto the list. I want to create a list across the country so that no matter where you live, if there's a race going on in your area, I can recommend good people who will do the right thing on the federal, provincial, or municipal level, even in nominations. That's what I'm trying to do with that. And then also, again, if you live in BC, consider donating through the donation link in the description below. And if you don't live in BC, you can also donate to my legal fund. It's the Give, Send, Go link in the description below. We want to make sure these situations like Jim DeMarce do not happen again, where we have elderly people being beaten by 40-year-old just vagrants on the streets, and just police aren't around, because when the police walk by these guys, I don't blame them. What can they do to them? They can't hold them for anything. This is actually where I'm going to give a compliment to a liberal politician, or former liberal politician, who's now the Mississauga mayor, Carolyn Parrish. She has a great idea with new municipal bylaws to hold repeat offenders, repeat thieves in prison under municipal bylaws, basically finding workarounds of the federal system to make sure that you can lock these people up for at least a few weeks in order for there to be some punishment to committing crimes, because people react to incentives. If you aren't arrested and held in prison for committing a crime, what stops people with bad moral compasses from just doing whatever they want, knowing if anything, they start to see it as a game? You get arrested after stealing several $1,000s of stuff. You're let out of prison in 2 days. Who cares? If anything, it's a great way of getting a shower between going on another crime spree. But anyways, you guys can go check all that stuff out, subscribe to the channel, like this video, do all the normal stuff that you do, and I'll see you guys in my next video.